Welcome to my Apple Watch 10's Ultimate Guide. Today we'll be covering everything you need to know from using your watch, along with some tips and tricks. I will show you some essential settings that you should change and how to optimize your performance and better battery life. And as well as we will go with some of the best apps and features for your smartwatch. Most of these tips will also apply to the older Apple Watch 9 and 8, and like always you will find the purchasing links to the watch down below in the description. The very first thing I would do if I get a new smartwatch is to customize the watch face, and Apple Watch faces are some of the best ones out there. Just Samsung watch faces can compete with the amount of things you can customize and the styles of watch faces. First up, you can decide if you want to look for new watch faces in the watch face gallery on your iPhone, and over here you can also customize the different watch faces, or you can do it on the smartwatch. For that, long press the home screen and then scroll all the way to the left. By default there's only one watch face, so there isn't too much of scrolling around, but as you can see I already downloaded a few. So if you're at the end, you can scroll down by either swiping, or you can use the crown on the side to do so. And as you can see, you have a lot of watch faces over here as well, but not all of the ones that you have on your smartphone. So let's check out the watch faces over there, and we will do the customization over on the watch. The first ones are the newest additions to the watch face gallery. That's the flux style that you have by default on your watch, and there are the photos. You can either choose some specific photos yourself that you have on your smartphone, or you can do a shuffle and the watch will look for some random pictures of an album to show. And as you can see, if I scroll a little bit further down, there are super many things that you can customize, like you can change the font style, time size, the style, colors and more, but we get to that in a minute. Back to the watch face gallery, so you can basically just scroll down and you will find different categories with a certain style of watch faces. If it's the activity ones all the way on top, astronomics, California, or the kaleidoscope. And the cool thing is that you can also play around with some of the watch faces by rotating the crown. Alright, on the watch face we will do the customization, even though it's probably a little bit easier on the phone. So depending on the watch face that you're on, you got different things to change. First, you will get to choose a different color of the time and details. Then you can go ahead and change the style of the watch face. Sometimes you can also change other small features. And as for less, you can change the complications. Those are basically the apps that you have on your smartwatch with which you can then interact right from your home display. Right here you can choose things like your workout, stopwatch, the Siri voice assistant, all of your health metrics, Spotify and your phone feature, just to mention a few of your options. The Apple Watch 10 has a few gesture controls. First, in your display settings you have the raise to wake feature, so as soon as you lift your wrist, your screen will turn on, but the newest gesture controls is definitely the double tap feature. If you tap your index finger and your thumb together twice, you can answer calls or reply to messages. You can see your smart stack, play and pause on your music, and a few other things. I do have to say that it doesn't always work on the first try, and sometimes it's probably a little bit easier to do on the screen, but nonetheless it's a cool feature. As well as you can turn off or mute your display or an alert by placing your palm on the screen, but the cover to mute feature need to be toggled on for this. By the way, some might not know that there are two different home screens. There's the grid layout that most of us know, but if you scroll all the way down you can also change it to a list layout. Right here you will find apps that start with an A, then B and C and so on. As for the grid layout, this can also be customized. Once again, you can do it on the watch or on your smartphone. But all you have to do is to long press on the screen, then long press on an app and just drag it to a new spot. Maybe you have some apps that you use more often than others. In that case, I would want to have them all the way on top, and that's the perfect way to do so. Next, let's talk about your notifications and how you can actually save a little bit of battery right here. I think by default you get all of your notifications that you would also get on your smartphone, but you can also toggle specific notifications off. For this, go to your notification settings on your phone or on your watch and then scroll down until you see all of your apps. I really just need notifications from my WhatsApp, my banking apps and maybe the YouTube, but that's it. I can turn off everything else, which again saves a lot of battery life because the watch doesn't light up every minute, and I'm more concentrated when I'm working since I really only get the necessary stuff, and then I can still decide if I want to respond to any messages. I also like to keep the notifications indicator on, which is the red dot when you have unread notifications. Something else that is also very important to me is the watch orientation. This one will basically flip the screen upside down, so first you can decide if you want to wear your watch on the left or on your right wrist, and then you can change the position of the crown. Now since I'm a lefty, I always wear my watch on the right side, and I also want to have the crown on the right side. Like this, the crown won't get in the way when I'm doing any exercises like push-ups. Another feature that could cost you some battery life is the background app refresh. It's okay to have it toggle on for a couple of your apps that you use the most, but you don't need it for every single app that you have on your smartwatch. Just turn those off in your general settings and you will have a longer battery life. On the Apple Watch 10, you can also take screenshots. In your general settings, you can toggle this feature on, and all you have to do is to press your two buttons at the same time. It will save the screenshot to your watch and to your smartphone. In either way, you can share this one with your friends and your family. Now in these settings, you will also find the bedside mode in case you don't want to wear your watch during the night and you don't want to use your smartphone as an alarm in the morning. In that case, you can use your smartwatch. This one will only work if it's charging, and what it does is that the screen brightens up gently in the minute leading up to your alarm time. In your settings, you can also change the sounds and the haptics, and this is something you might want to change. I like to keep the silent mode on as I think the vibrations feedback of the Watch 10 is more than good enough, even in the default settings. You can also change it to a more prominent feedback if you want to, but like I said, the default settings are more than good enough for most of the time. But if you don't want to run the silent mode, you will find a slider all the way on top with which you can adjust the volume of your ringtones and your alerts. Now again, in your settings, and to be more precise in your display and the brightness settings, you can change the text size. There are 7 different levels, and I would always suggest to stick to a smaller size, since the smaller the text size, the more text you will get on your smartwatch. The lowest might be a bit too small sometimes, but the biggest size is always a little bit too big, and you barely see anything on your screen. So I would stick to a more smaller size in general. Right here in these settings, you will also find your AOD mode and how to wake up your watch. I think one of the best features of the Apple Watch 10 is the always on display mode, which is why I would always turn it on. It is also a bit faster to see the time, and everyone sees your cool watch face. But if you don't want to do that, you have some other gesture controls to wake up your watch face. You can either raise your wrist, or you can rotate the crown, or you can even do both, and then you can adjust the wake duration. By default, it's just set to 15 seconds, which is really not that long, and I would go with 70 seconds just in case, even though this one will consume a little bit more of your battery life. So I also think that there is a best way to reply to messages and how to use Siri. I mean, you can go with the high Siri thing, but by pressing the button, it goes much faster, and sometimes Siri is just not listening. And as for your messages, I think the keyboard on the watch is way too small. So I would suggest going with the speech to dictate feature. It works so good, it gets what you're saying super fast, you have no spelling errors, and I really think that this is the correct way to respond to your messages. So again, back into your settings, there are the passcode settings, and there are a few good things about it. You can toggle on the erase data feature, which erases the data after 10 failed passcode attempts, in case you lost your smartwatch and someone tries to guess your password. Also, you can set up a password, and it has a wrist detection. So as long as you have your smartwatch on your wrist, you don't need to enter it, but as soon as you take it off your wrist, you always have to put in the password, which is a little bit annoying after a while. Lastly, you can also unlock your smartwatch by unlocking your smartphone. It kind of works like the D&D or the sleep mode. If one device is doing one thing, the other one will copy the settings. The Apple Watch Series 10 also comes with the emergency SOS feature, and there are different ways to activate it. First, you have to set up an emergency contact. Right here, you can just choose someone that you have on your contacts list, and then you can toggle on different features. First up, you can manually activate the SOS emergency by long pressing your crown, but the great thing is that it will also activate by itself, either when it detects a serious crash, whether it's in your car or with your bike, and then it also detects a hard fall. I would also suggest keeping it always on and not only during your workouts, since a lot of accidents happen if you're not actively doing a workout on your smartwatch. So there are some very useless settings I would turn off, and some I would leave on. In your activity settings, you got stuff like your daily coaching, goal completion, special challenges, or the activity sharing notifications. I personally would turn all of these notifications off, as those are very specific ones and not everyone needs these, and I would only leave on the stand reminder, especially if you're someone like me that sits all day during work and then after work still sits while I'm playing my games on the computer or doing some stuff on YouTube. After 15 minutes, you will get a reminder from your watch to stand up, and it does it every hour. So be so kind, your back will thank you later. And all of these health stuff brings me right to the next one, and those are the heart rate settings. It's one of the most used features on any smartwatch, so I would definitely toggle all of these features on. It can estimate your cardio fitness level, and it will notify you when it's low. You can also toggle on the heart rate alerts. So there is one for a high and for a low heart rate, and you can set at which heart rate beat you want to get a notification. For example, I want to get notifications when it's 150 or when it's down to just 40. So as soon as your heart rate is above or under, after 10 minutes you will get a notification from your smartwatch. Now on the watch you will find a little ear icon, which is your noise detection. You can turn this one off or on, but I will leave it like it is. Plus I would activate notifications from it as well, as it will send you messages when it gets too loud. This feature measures the decibel outside, and you will get these infos right on your wrist. So the Apple Watch 10 has 64 gigs of internal storage, which is actually quite a lot for a smartwatch. And with that, you can download a lot of apps from your app store, including some music streaming apps like Amazon Music, Apple Music, or Spotify. And I'm using Spotify, for example. And as long as you have a premium account, you can actually download songs, playlists, and podcasts right to your watch, and then you can listen to it offline during your workouts, and you don't need your smartphone nearby. Now, one of the most used apps on your smartwatch is probably the workout app. Now, this one has super many workouts to choose from. It will start with some stuff like walking, swimming, and running. There's hiking, yoga, and core training, and all the way at the bottom, you can even add some more workouts to your personal list. There are a bunch of ball sports, winter and water sports, bowling, and also traditional weightlifting. And within these workouts, you also have some customization options. Let's try out the running workout. The open workout is just your normal workout with no extras. Below that, you have a custom workout with a preset time for your workout, how often you want to do the workout, and you have a cooldown time, and you can give this workout a name as well. You can do workouts for a certain time, distance, pace, or until you reach a certain amount of calories that you've lost. And all the way at the bottom you have the preferences. Right here you can customize your workout views. You can set a heart rate, cadence, power, or time alerts. You can do splits and get some alerts right here as well. And then when you click on workout views, you can change the metrics on your workout display. So instead of just your heart rate, you might want to see the time or the pace or even both. There are up to 4 metrics that you can change. I guess you know that there are 2 kinds of Apple Watches that you can buy. So there's a GPS version like I have, and you got a cellular version, and there are only 2 major differences. One is definitely more expensive. The normal 46mm GPS version will cost you 480 euros, and the cellular version is 600, and for that extra price you have a few benefits. You basically never need your smartphone. You can call and message your friends directly from your watch. Download apps from the App Store. You can use the Apple Pay at the checkout even without your smartphone. You can use maps and basically all the features which normally needs an internet connection. So it definitely has a lot of benefits, but only for the ones that actually use these features on the watch. I would say that most of us will just use the smartphone for navigation in your car, plus everyone these days has a smartphone in his pocket. As for last, I got a little tip for you guys, and that's how to quickly switch between your apps on the watch. This feature used to be on your lower button, but now you have to double press your crown and it will open up a list with all of your open apps, and from here on you can quickly switch between your apps, but you can also close these apps right here if you swipe to the left and press the red X button. And guys, there we have it. That's my full tour of the Apple Watch Series 10. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.